Well, after seeing Joe Biden here in my hometown now of Tampa, wow. I mean, I used to drive an 18-wheeler. No, you didn't.
Never been in a cab.
Never, ever climbed up into one. Ooh. He also said, this was the classic. I've got it captured for all time. Let's play this for you. This is classic. I love this. I love. Can't push the button for some reason because this stupid system that Eric has set up doesn't work right. But here we go.
How many times do you have to prove we can't be trusted?
How many times do we have to prove we can't be trusted? He got
his problem.
But here's the serious part of it that you alluded to this morning, and that's, it was an abortion rally. Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't go to an abortion clinic. He may have gotten a bigger crowd. I mean, it was like Mark, nobody showed up. Ooh. They had a room. It was so embarrassing where they had a room where he was having a press conference and people were invited. There were about a dozen people there. No, there's no enthusiasm.
This is a major American city. He wasn't in Scranton. He wasn't in, he was in the major metropolitan area. And by the way, Florida is DeSantis country. It is a red state. But Tampa, Hillsborough County, plenty of Democrats.
Interestingly, Biden doesn't mention DeSantis yesterday when he was here, but DeSantis sure mentioned him. Yeah, he basically said, the governor said, we ain't buying what he's selling, sorry. But listen, they're going to bang the abortion drum. It's all they've got. Yeah. They've got Trump on trial. Yep. And it hit me last night. I've been studying this and listening and following the reporting. Here's essentially what Alvin Bragg wants a jury to believe. That a non-disclosure agreement that Trump entered into with this former porn star was election interference. Yeah. There's no crime with a non-disclosure agreement. Nope. There's no crime with David Pecker and the National Enquirer and the catch and kill stories. It happens all the time. So what they're going to try to convince the jury is Trump won the election because he hid an affair from years ago from the voters. Now, Mark, let that sink in how rich that is for just a moment. Because we already know, it's like the movie voice, in a world.
Imagine a world where crimes are invented.
Well, imagine a world where Hillary had a server in her bidet. Yeah. Imagine a world where they suppressed the Hunter Biden laptop story in order to rig an election, frankly. No accountability for any of that. Imagine a world where Hillary was engaged in the fake Russian dossier thing. You think that tried to impact an election?
Don't have to imagine that world. It existed.
It happened. And now Alvin Bragg is pitifully and pathetically trying to I mean, like Jonathan Turley put it, well, Bragg got his trial. The only problem now, he's got to find a crime.
Well,
because there's no crime, Mark.
There is not, and it's threadbare, and it's ridiculous, and it's pathetic, and it may work. Because, I mean, you're the guy who has told us, and I'm kind of grudgingly think you've got an obvious strong point. It's Manhattan. It's this jury. It may work. They may convict him anyway, because the death of O.J. a few days ago really put me back in the mind of how easy it is to get a jury that will ignore evidence in order to make a point that jury wants to make. In the O.J. jury, a guilty black man must go free because of 400 years of oppression. Right. In this particular case, it may be a thoroughly innocent former president, current candidate, must be punished because we hate him. Why not?
Why not? Let's go for it. And meanwhile, CNN's new polls has all kinds of Trump-like abilities through the roof. Axios this week, Mike Allen reports on the fact that Biden definitely has the bigger challenge about having the narrower, tougher path to get to 270 electoral college votes.
Did you catch NBC and Kristen Welker and Steve Kornacki, who's one of the best numbers crunchers in the business? He goes at it. He's kind of a straight shooter. But it was on Meet the Press, so Kristen Welker's on board, who's Chuck Todd in a dress. And they're looking at all the poll numbers. You can just see their hearts just sinking in their chests as they say, the various things where Trump is leading. Trump is, and not just on issues, but Trump is leading on mental fitness for office, just sort of up to the task, the kinds of things that on being just sort of sensible and ready to lead the country, on all of these sort of ethereal, are you ready for the job factors? Right. Trump on the ascendancy.
Well, I mean, it's fascinating to watch this all play out and realize that they are gripped by panic, and they don't really. And meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, isn't it fascinating that Republicans and Democrats can unify on aid to Ukraine and Israel and even to the Palestinians? I forgot, tucked into there is aid to the Palestinians. You know, into this accountability act, but also is the TikTok ban. Now, this is fascinating. My pal Charlie Kirk has come out swinging on this. Listen to what he posted last night. Joe Biden is likely to, and I feel the same way. Spoiler alert, I am thoroughly mystified by this TikTok ban. And Republicans lining up saying, we got to ban TikTok. It's bad. We got to get rid of TikTok because China owns it. Here's what Charlie Kirk writes. Biden is likely to ban TikTok, an app he doesn't like, because he is owned and promoted by big tech, a massive in-kind political donation that ought to be investigated. Charlie writes, I've used TikTok now for just a few weeks. We're approaching 1 million followers quickly. I cannot speak to the privacy issues, but we are now reaching millions of Gen Z voters daily. Many are turning conservative as a result.
Wow.
It has undeniable cultural impact. I think I can see why Biden wants this app banned. If the polling is right, it might be pushing younger voters to the right. Mark, how in the world can the government say we're gonna shut down a private company because we don't like the ownership of it? I'm sorry.
Okay, first of all, I largely occupy the same space as you do on that, but there is an answer to the question you've posed, and that is because the communist Chinese use it as a window to basically surveil many, many avenues of American life toward ends that may not be in our benefit. So it's not just we don't like the ownership or we don't like the content. It is the evil communist Chinese at the controls of every data point that's in all of our teenagers' faces.
Now
so that's the
now
reason.
Do Facebook. Now do Facebook.
I know.
Facebook has
the communist Chinese.
Facebook has literally tens of thousands of employees in China. Nobody cares about Facebook. For me, Mark, Facebook is every bit as insidious and evil and dastardly as TikTok. In fact, I won't touch Facebook. I know what Zuckerberg and his wife did with election polling places and the monies that they funneled into locations where people were voting. I know how they suppress stories. I am much more threatened by Facebook than I am TikTok.
Yep. You want to? Okay, you ready for a conversation starter? And I think this may resonate with you. Right now, 2024, for the next few months and even the next couple of years, which poses the greater threat to the American lifestyle, the American prospects for success? The evil communist Chinese, okay, get that, or the radical left, which controls big tech in America?
That's just it. I've got a friend in New York, Kevin McCullough. You know him, great host in New York City, and he's all over TikTok. And I asked him why. He said, I won't let my kids use it. Lacking tech savvy, they can be victimized by the CCP. However, as my mom used to say, do God's work with the devil's money. I flood TikTok with all the pro-truth propaganda I can put up there. And he also pointed something out. This is called personal responsibility. Kevin has all the tracking elements of the app disconnected. You can disconnect the tracking elements of TikTok. You just got to do it. You got to have responsibility.
Okay, Boomer. Let's flesh this out right now. Do you and I don't have a stupid TikTok account. Do I need one? Do you and I need to start?
I'm thinking
throwing
about
out some solid M&M. I mean, either together or individually. Do you and I need to start doing some TikTok content? If you are, why not?
I'm strongly thinking about it. Why not? Let's consider it because I'm thinking about Mark Davis. Your rule. You go into CNN, you go to Chris Cuomo, you write for the Dallas Morning News, the Star Telegram, you say, look, let's go into their sandboxes and let's spread truth and let's let our voices be heard. You're a lot stronger on that than I am. So, hey, why not? I mean, but again, it's frustrating to me. It's depressing that Republicans and Democrats get unified about that, but not our own border. Not our border.
I think they sing kumbaya over, funneling more money and materiel to Ukraine. Meanwhile, our southern border remains open. And final 60 seconds here. Mike Johnson. I think Mike Johnson's critics have a point. I think his supporters also have a point. Trump says keep him. We don't need another bloodbath and I think Trump, you know what? If you usually find yourself saying, overall, Trump is right, you'll be right more often than you're wrong. And
you will. You absolutely will. And Trump. And
I'm with
Trump.
Leave it alone, man.
I'm with Trump on this. And incidentally, right now it only looks like there's one or two other Republicans joining Marjorie Taylor Greene. He survives this. He's going to survive this, and he's going to come out of this maybe bloodied but unbowed and unbroken.
He was in Texas yesterday. Appearing on behalf of Tony Gonzalez in Texas 23, and he's going to the campus of Columbia University today. So
well, he should, because you know what? Like you said, the terrorists won.